नमस्कार, आप देख रहे हैं भारत टाइम्स न्यूज और मैं हूं आपके साथ छवि। मशहूर और अद्भुत शख्सियत रिनी धूमल को और उनके जीवन के रंगीन कैनवास को सितारों ने मिलकर श्रद्धांजलि दी। प्रत्येक कलाकार अपने ब्रश को अपनी आत्मा में डुबो लेता है, फिर एक उत्कृष्ट कृति उभरती है। एक पावर की शक्ति। आधुनिक कला की राष्ट्रीय गैलरी में रिनी धूमल का एक पूर्वव्यापी चित्र कलाकार और उसके प्रत्येक कार्य के लिए बहुत कुछ कहता है, जो उसके प्रकाश में विकीर्ण होने वाली शक्ति और लचीलापन को दर्शाता है। रिनी धूमल की सशक्त कृतियों ने आम भारतीय नारी में हमेशा ही असाधारण शक्ति को उभारा है। उनकी कला की कृतियां में भारतीय संस्कृति की झलक देखने मिलती है। उन्हें सहजता से अपनाया गया। उनका स्टूडियो उनके घर के पहले मंजिल पर स्थित है। साथ ही नेशनल गैलरी ऑफ मॉडर्न आर्ट में भी हूबहू उनका स्टूडियो बनाया गया है। एनजीएमए के डायरेक्टर जनरल उभरत के प्रयासों के लिए धन्यवाद, जिन्होंने प्रदर्शनी को क्यूरेट किया है। रिनी धूमल की पूर्वव्यापी शक्ति शनिवार 21 मई 2022 से देखी जा सकती है। प्रदर्शनी के प्रीव्यू में वृंदा मिलर, निशा जामवाल, सुदर्शन शेट्टी, फिरोजा गोदरेज, विलास शिंदे, महानिदेशक एनजीएमए अद्वैत गणनायक, पीडी धूमल, राधिका धूमल, शशि बंसल, कल्पना गांधी, विनोद शर्मा, मधुसूदन जैन, कमल, कुलदीप कोरेगांवकर सहित अन्य हस्तियों ने शिरकत की। प्रदर्शनी शनिवार 21 मई 2022 से देखी जा सकती है। शक्ति दिसंबर 2020 में खुलने वाली थी, लेकिन कोविड-19 महामारी ने कहर बरपाया और इस प्रकार शो को 1 साल के लिए स्थगित कर दिया गया। दुर्भाग्य से रिनी धूमल का 2021 में अप्रत्याशित रूप से निधन हो गया।
I thought that I would be concluding the show all the same. I have known Rini the longest among all of us. We met in 67 and married in 77.
It's really a pleasure to stand over here for Rini ma'am. And my association goes with the family over 3 decades, more than that actually. Initially as a student, then.
Good evening to all of you. Thank you all for coming here today. My ma's life is to be celebrated, I think. She did work very hard, but she was focused until the end. She dedicated her life to us, my baba, kids, but most of all her students. Sorry. We were all part of her existence and practice. Her untimely demise was such that she really wished to do a lot more. She suffered with lung disease last few years, but that didn't deter her from her practice. She worked every day as if there was no tomorrow, she would say. She created a series of works through the Corona times, which was different from her previous works sample, all of which is displayed here. I think that her printmaking practice is part of the reason she suffered the lung illness. The deep cuts with acid, viscosity, aqua, the various techniques, and the lifting of rollers as well as sugar were images that she did with ease, not realizing the suffering that she would face.
सबको प्रणाम। धूमल जी, बाबूरी जी, विलास जी, राधिका, संजना, एक्चुअली हमने कभी सोचा नहीं हम शो क्यूरेट कर सकते हैं। एक्चुअली उन्होंने सारी बना के तैयार करके मेरे को दे के चल गई थी। इस तरीका उनका राइटिंग, उनका जो सोच और जिस लेवल में वो काम करते थे, वो हमेशा सोचते थे मेरा आज लास्ट दिन है। इतना स्पीड में एक आर्टिस्ट काम करता है। और मैंने जो
Good evening. Rini was my teacher, my mentor. Rini and Dhumal sir both, because I studied under them. So she was, from the time as a student when I met her first, we somehow just created, like, I think, a deep bond, So for me, she was like in a varied form, like she was my teacher as well as she was my friend at the same time, at that time, and also she was like my mother, you know. So the relationship changed according to the situation. So yeah, and both Rini and Dhuma as teachers.
Tell us about the Rini that we don't know.
Rini was a very private person. Not many people know much about her anyway. In a day, she would work for about 9 hours in a day after she left the university. She was a professor and head of the painting department for 6-7 years. But before that also she taught for 20 years. So after she gave up the job, she left the job because she wanted to paint. She almost worked 10 hours a day. And we, being in small town, we all have large houses, large studios. You know, if one wants to do it in Mumbai, it's impossible. So we have, fortunately, you'll see it in the show, you'll see our house and the studio and everything. So we both were fortunate to have had this.
So when will we be seeing an exhibition of your works now?
I don't know, I'm not really so keen. I'm a printmaker, I don't paint very much. Sometime, I'm not in such a large gallery. I need a much smaller gallery. I will sometime. Thank you. Thanks.
I really feel very excited and I am so happy to see so many works together. Rinidhi was always a great friend and guide to us, and I have traveled with her all over the world. She has been to many camps with me, and she is such a guide and such a great person, and this is a fantastic show. I really loved it.
Any particular experience with Rinidhi you can share with us?
Yeah, she was a great shopper. She was very fond of shopping. She used to go with my wife and Brinda and all these, and we have traveled more than half of the world together, and we had such a great time, and I can never forget. It's a wonderful experience. Thank you.
We don't know.
It's too emotional a moment for me actually to think, but I think what people didn't know is that she was extremely committed to her forms of art that she picked up, and it was any, from terracotta to paints, any medium she picked up. And I think as a child I saw with the ease in which she would change from one medium to the other, and with such ease create the form she wanted to create. I think that is something very rare I haven't seen in many artists. Of course, very traditional in terms of contemporary Indian art, but I think she was definitely an artist by every means. And I think she was overly emotional kind of person. She loved traveling. She used to sketch a lot, and on site. There are not many artists who can now sketch on site, which she did, and we have all seen her do it. And I think she was a great cook. I don't know if many people know, but she was one great cook. And she did what she could best throughout her life, and worked really hard. Me as a child was dragged in every thing that she did, and I think I'm blessed that I went through that process.
How is it being in the retro today, and you're missing your mom because she should have been an addict in a year?
Yes. I'm grateful that it has come through, and I'm grateful to the NGMA, the Director General, especially Uभरत. I do feel now that her soul, I hope, rests in peace, and she actually did a lot of work throughout for a show which wasn't supposed to be an intro but turned out to be one. So she went too early and I'm very sad about it.